I am so late to the party because everyone talked about that movie this year. I've seen many streams about it. I am multi-topic talk. I watch movies, I review stuff. This is my channel. I hope all of you will enjoy. Today we talk about Strange Darling, a thriller or call it the way you want. It's a great movie. I will spoil the entire thing, and I highly recommend for you to go blindly. If it's not done yet, don't watch this review. Don't watch the trailer. Go see Strange Darling. You will be surprised. That's a solid movie. I highly recommend, and that's all for like the warning. Click off the video. Let's spoil the entire thing.
And here we are talking about Strange Darling. How are you, Charles?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing great. And it's interesting because that movie, you did recommend it to me. And I trust you because we said it backstage. You're one of the few reviewer I used to watch. So I was like, you know what? I will go see it. And I liked it enough. So I went back again for a second
Nice.
watch. And now I gotta say, we have spoiler ahead. I mentioned that because these spoiler they do matter, and if you plan on watching this movie,
Yeah. Wait. Let
click
me
off
cut
the
you
video.
off. If you have, it's hard because if you haven't seen the movie and you're interested, stop this, watch the movie, and then come back. This is definitely a movie that you can't go into it knowing things. It. I'm sorry. You were saying.
Not even the trailer. Not even the
Yeah.
trailer.
Right.
And this is what I told to my coworker. I told him, if you go see it, don't watch the trailer. And he was like, but I
Mhm.
need the trailer. No, don't watch the trailer. Trust me.
Yeah. Just.
You know, I watch a lot of movies. You know, I'm at the theater almost every weekend. But yeah, so I guess we can spoil it now that we kind of gave the warning to click off the video if you haven't seen. But I I enjoyed that movie, and I think the way they put together the chapters,
Mhm.
because we got 6 chapters, was the perfect way to do it.
Out
You
of
start
order
with the
too.
middle,
Yeah.
and it was creative. I haven't seen that many movies doing that in the past. I Let me think. I I don't remember seeing any movies like that. I know they exist, but I just haven't seen them. Did you have seen movies that use that some kind of approach?
Well, we were talking about it a while back. Pulp Fiction does something like that. They have a nonlinear fashion of storytelling. Um, I think for Strange Darling, it works. It works for this like who done it element where you're like, wait, why is they give you some heavy chunk of the middle right off the bat, and you're automatically thinking, wait, how did this turn into this? And then they show you different parts, and it makes it a bit more rewarding because if you watched it like start to finish, it wouldn't have the same flow because you would know.
Where it goes?
Yeah, if knowing the middle first is so important because you're like, oh, this guy's chasing this woman and she's hiding for her life, and then it's like, no, she's not.
She's the perpetrator. She's the reason it all happened.
She's fooling all of us.
And I will also say this. This movie is really hard to watch if you experienced art stuff,
Yeah,
especially essay and
right.
substance use and that kind of stuff. Um, so that's the kind of movie. Even if I liked it a lot, it's my third favorite movie this year. Um, I don't see myself recommending that to anybody, because I know people live their life, and
Yeah.
sometimes life can be very hard. So how do you feel about recommending that kind of movies to
Yeah.
others?
you don't know what somebody's story is. You don't know what's going to trigger someone else. The caveat I would put on that is, yes, there's an element of SA, but if you can deal with that, they kind of explain it to a way where, first of all, it's not SA the way you would think. It's kind of like they do show that first, and over the course of time, you realize, oh, both of them are kind of into it, but one of them really isn't. The perpetrator isn't. The person who's performing the difficult action is actually, he didn't want to do it. Hello, Gray. And when you learn that, it's more of like is that BDSM? Is that what that is?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that makes it better for someone that both participants are aware of and taking part in that. But
Yeah.
that's
I will add something to this, but we will cut here for a sec. So, we did a quite quick cut there. So, Strange Darling. Yeah. Charles. I actually lost the train of thought where
you
we
should
were.
segue to someone who we haven't really heard from yet.
That's actually a good idea. Gray. Gray.
Oh,
How are you?
I'm doing fantabulous. Just watched this amazing film again. So yeah, I'm all the better for it. Yeah, here
That's
to talk
amazing.
about Strange Darling. Good.
Did
time.
you add more people than me in your theater? Like we were like 5 or 6 yesterday. Did you add more
There
people
was like
than
7 people, including me. So there wasn't like a ton in the theater, which really sucks because this film deserves to be seen. And I was hoping because there weren't a ton of films released this weekend, maybe that would give this a shot, but it doesn't sound like it. Predicting the future, it doesn't sound like it broke the top 10, but it deserves it.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. And I said it when you were not really there yet. It's my third favorite movie this year. I liked it so much. And I'd even say it's like 9th place in all of the movies I've seen.
Ever.
Ever?
Yeah.
And you've seen
ever.
over 10 movies, so wow.
As of right now, I got like 158 movies recorded to my letterbox, but I've seen more because there's a few movies I didn't really bother registering to letterbox. But yeah, I've seen lots of
You really
movies.
should
Yeah.
do a letterbox at some point. That would be fun to be able to keep track of how many movies I've actually
Indeed.
watched. I just have a
Yeah.
document for ones that I've seen this year.
Wow.
That's about it.
Letterbox it's way more intuitive. I don't know. You get to see whatever.
It's official.
Yeah.
The more you wait, the worse it will be. Like
I know.
It's funny when I started the Red Blue podcast with Cole, like now 2 years ago. He told me you should create a letterbox. I didn't listen to him. I should have. Because
How did they deal with your unique scale? It doesn't seem like it would fit on the 5.
1, 2, 7, 8, 9, 10.
yeah, exactly. He got it right, but it's like Facebook, but like with movies. It's like, yeah, it's not a good example.
People aren't talking about politics on Letterboxd.
You're right.
Yeah,
It's just
that's
movies.
Some people have that lens that they view everything through.
It's like
But-
it's like a Facebook group where they only talk about movies. Yeah, I think that's a better example.
That's closer.
Yeah, much
Yeah.
closer.
I'm not opposed to it. It just feels like it's such a monumentous task that I don't feel like ever starting it. But I will.
Yeah,
I'll
you should
do
do
it
that.
eventually.
I started mine like I think it was like February or March, right after the award.
And you're already up
because-
to 158 or whatever. Nice.
Yeah, because there's a few of them I did remember, and I was like, oh, they're worth mentioning. So, yeah, like the Mission Impossible stuff. I like Mission Impossible, so yeah, that's a tangent. Anyway, Strange Darling.
So you mentioned that this is like your number 3 for the year, possibly number 9 overall ever.
Yeah,
For me, this is the top one of the year so far. I guess we still got time for it to be dethroned, but just man, every single element of this works for me. So yeah, it's currently taking the tops. As far as like all time, I don't know. It might be in my top 10, but yeah, for this year, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe Beetlegeist can move it out of the way, but I'm not putting much hope in anything else that's kind of advertised. And this just kind of came out of nowhere for me. I'd heard nothing about it. Charles just he got a screener of it a bit early, and yeah, what can I say? He really influenced me to want to see this, and I'm so glad he did, because I don't know. This is nowhere on my radar, and sadly, I don't think it's on everybody else's radar. So. If anybody is thinking about seeing this at all, do it. You'll enjoy it. Probably turn this off now, which
We already did the warning, but there's a second warning here.
Don't spoil anything. just go see it. It's great.
But we already did a warning, but that's your second warning.
I like to warn people.
Yeah. I'm wondering, what would be your issues with Strange Darling if you had any, Gray?
I've got zero issues with it whatsoever. I love it. I love the nonlinear storytelling that they're doing with it. I love the way that it plays off of and kind of manipulates you. It's using your preconceived notions, but it knows that it really is playing you as part of this with the way that it's telling the story, the way that it introduces the characters, with it being the lady and the demon. It works so well. I've seen something like this attempted so many times, and it just kind of falls flat, and they're really trying to do this, kind of pushing you into believing a certain thing or using your preconceived notions to make you think this is happening one way. Just the way that they're able to do this, for me, it works flawlessly. And even if you do play the chapters, so it's a thriller in 6 chapters plus an epilogue. If you do put them in order, it still works. I've heard a bunch of people say it would not necessarily work or have the same impact. For me, it totally does.
Really?
But I do like the way that it's doing this nonlinear thing. It still looks like it would be a fun story. There's some of them that do the whole Tarantino, we're going to mix up what order everything is in. And it just would not work that way. This, for me, I can't see anything not working if you actually put it in chronological order. For me, I really like everything that's going on with this, all the themes. It manipulated me hard in a good way. I definitely... So the trailer did kind of give away one thing. It said, see it before the twist is given away. I can't remember exactly how it phrased that, but in the back of my mind, I knew that there was some sort of twist. Right. So I did kind of put it together before it actually played out on screen, but man, even if I had that ruined for me, that watching it a second time, everything it still works really flawlessly for me. I think even if you did have the whatever twist spoiled, it really wouldn't affect anything. You still get to see every aspect of this, the lighting, the actual color on this. So I don't know if you guys got into the cinematography much on this at all, but famous child actor Giovanni Ribisi. This is his first feature film doing the cinematography, but I guess he's just worked so hard behind the scenes on a bunch of different shit. I guess he actually has a degree in digital effects for filmmaking and stuff. He went back to school for that, and then realized he needed to make money, so he went back to acting. It's kind of fun, but I guess all of his time on these sets, he really did learn kind of how to use a camera, and really got the bug of being interested in it. But he's basically got his shop where he owns a whole bunch of lenses, a whole bunch of lights, and he painstakingly, so he got a fake person because he didn't want to, subject an actual person to setting them up and making sure how he would get that blue tone on the skin for that amazing shot when they're talking outside of the hotel. But he really wanted the blues to show up vividly. So he actually ended up getting this fake human, which had a really weird open mouth, apparently. So, like that. But it was enough that it had real skin tone, and the light affected it the exact same way. So he was able to actually spend the time and figure out what this is without, torturing a human for hours to figure out exactly how to do that. But man, so I guess Giovanni Ribisi and the director JT Molyneux, I guess they met through the guy who is running Kodak. So he introduced the two of them, kind of because of their love of film, and yeah, it's just led to this amazing relationship that they had here. But yeah, so the start of the film, it does mention that this is shot on 35 millimeter Kodak film, which, you know, it sounds a little pretentious, but my God, I have not seen anything as pretty as this in a long time. Just there's so many shots in here that are, I want to say iconic. I do think people are going to be using this for a lot of film school to show a lot of different things. Charles pointed out a whole bunch of the kind of subtext that's going on with just the way that they're framing, the way that they're blocking. For instance, you only see the lady in profile. You're only seeing one side of her face, and then it's all bathed in the blue light. It's so amazing the way that they're able to do these subtle visual clues that just, especially if you're really looking for it, oh man, they knock it out of the park with this. But visually, this is amazing. Audio wise, I love both the score that they use for this. The score is like amazing. It's not on the actual soundtrack for the album, but it just gives me Doom vibes. It's got this djenty guitar, especially when the demon is chasing the lady. Just anytime he kind of starts moving up, just kind of the Doom music kicks in. It's really awesome. But then the actual soundtrack for it, he ended up going with this really fun artist named Zeberg, or Zedberg if you're in Canada. But yeah, Zeberg, she's just like amazing. So she does all the songs, like the Strange Darling one, and then the couple of covers. But man, it is a haunting score. I actually haven't downloaded too many soundtracks in a long time, but I think I've listened to this one like 5 times over the last week. It is haunting and really affects me in a weird way.
Excuse me, you found the score or the Zeberg stuff?
The score, Zeberg's soundtrack for it. So it's all of her songs, but the actual score, like the kind of, you know, guitars that get kind of djenty, those I haven't found anywhere. So I'm not sure.
I haven't found them either, and I was curious to know. But you haven't
the
seen
Zeberg.
Yeah, those
I'm digging her songs a lot. Just yeah, it really is kind of haunting. She's got this amazing voice, and then it's a weird eclectic version of a whole bunch of, I don't know exactly what I want to call it. It's somewhat folk tinged, but man, this soundtrack is awesome. So visually, and then the acting in this is just over the top. Both of these, Kyle Gallner and
Willa Fitzgerald.
I'm forgetting her name. Willa just
Fitzgerald.
amazing. Fitzgerald, thank you. Sorry, I wanted to call her Fitzpatrick, and I'm like, that's not right. It's going to call everyone Patrick, apparently. But yeah, just they are amazing performances. And then when you bring in everybody else, all the supporting actors, Barbara Hershey, Ed Begley Jr., just man, it is just over the top in the best possible way. And I love both of the police. They come in as exactly the characters I'd want them to be. Just man, for me, there's every element of this just working. The suspense works for me. The action works for me. I even like the bit of horror that it has. You know, it does like the demon flash a couple of times, but it just and then it's got like the I guess you'd call it like an homage to Texas Chainsaw Massacre with the scroll at the beginning. I just love every element of this. It's just working for me. So to make a long story short, Multi, I don't have anything negative to say about it. Do you?
That's amazing.
What do you hate about it?
I had no issue whatsoever. I think this movie deserves something like more people watching it, more eyes on it. I don't know, like I've seen lots of movies, not as many as the both of you, but thus far, I'd say among the ones I've seen, it had the best music and sound effects were really cool. Like the guns, I thought did sound like guns. I think there was a lot of attention to detail, and you know where the money went with this movie, unlike Borderlands. But I feel like in the next hour, I really hope it had enough eyes on it, so people talk about it, and it deserves music. I think maybe I'm crazy on that, but the
No, I
music
don't think so.
the music stayed with me even after leaving the theater the first time. And the second time, I was even more into it because I was following the vibe of that movie. The music, last time I liked that much music in a movie, maybe I will sound like a big fanboy, but the last time was the Batman 2022. That was the last movie I went to see, and I liked that much music.
You like slow symphonic Nirvana?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
I guess.
I mean, fair enough.
I guess. Yeah. And
Symphonic.
sometimes I do like the music in movies, but they don't stay that much with me after leaving theater. I'm like, yeah, the music was cool, but that's just cool, you know. But here is, I really feel like it had the best music. So what did you think of the music, Charles?
I've seen it the least out of all of us. This is confusing.
I
I did the one that
You got a cool
recommended the movie.
screener. Does it allow you to watch it multiple times, or is it just one and done?
Yeah, it has an expiration date. I think I could have watched it 3 times, and it expired last week.
Cool. Not that it expired. That they have, a way to actually do that. Like, it makes sense.
I mean, the review copy, so they expect you to check something, and I think if you play it once, it counts as a play. Like if you play it and you have to leave the room for something, you need to restart it. And
that sucks.
That's a second play. Yeah, so they give you a couple of plays, but it's from what I understand, Cody, a much bigger YouTuber friend of mine, he ran into an issue where he needed to watch it again, and he just basically emailed them and told them, and they have certain precautionary measures that they, your name
Rightfully
is going
so.
to be, yeah, right, and as long as nobody's doing anything illegal or anything with it, you shouldn't have a problem with whatever they're asking you for, because it's just to avoid malpractice.
For sure.
Which
And
I
it
did not
looks like it
before.
was pretty effective, because up until a couple days ago, I didn't see this anywhere on the high seas, which is great for it, but also kind of bad because it's not getting the name out there.
Right.
I don't know what to think. But,
Right. Right.
yeah, I'm glad that none of those copies leaked, but it would have been so much better because it would be so clear and you'd actually see like the amazing visuals that this has. Where I did happen to check out the other one. It does not look nearly as good as it should. This one should be seen in theaters for sure.
I would imagine the color is kind of stank on a pirate version too, right? Because it
Yes,
just
every part of it.
pops. It is so pretty. You asked about the music. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I do remember. The rock, the djenty stuff, kind of sticking with me, and I really dislike the "Love Hurts" from Halloween, Rob Zombie's 2009 Halloween 2, and it reminded me of that, where I was just like, oh,
Yeah, but this is Zedberg's take on
Yeah.
Love Hurts.
yeah, Zombie ruined Love Hurts for me forever. And if I have a complaint, and that's a me thing, it's the fact that song was in there in that style.
Okay. Very interesting.
It's not a movie problem, it's a me problem.
Does it help if you know that it's featuring Keith Carradine?
A little bit, I don't know. It's in the same type of arrangement that like it shakes.
It
my
is. I mean, it's a cover of this song for sure. But I don't know, man. I also kind of hated that song after what Rob Zombie did to it. But I gotta say, Z really she brought me back with this. I've listened to it like a few times. Like I think I've done the album. Yeah, I think it's saying 5 times now. It actually made me download Zeberg's last album, which I guess JT Molnar was listening to nonstop, and basically just asked her like, "Hey, can I use these songs in my movie?" And instead, she just basically wrote him an entire album to the movie,
cool.
which is really fun. But it includes like the last one is "To Forget You," which is from her last album, the one that JT Molnar was like obsessed with, which is called Get Z to the Nunnery.
Mhm.
But this one happens to be featuring Jenny Palone Molnar. So
Oh.
it's kind of weird. I do believe somebody related to the director just happened to sing this cover of a song from Zeeberg's last one on this one. So I don't know. It's really interesting, but I would recommend giving the album a listen to.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
I think the music matched for me when it was like that first date night in the hotel roomy, that like spacey type vibe. But when it was not that, I was a bit more attached to the rock chase type music.
Got to be honest, I thought that would be on this album when I downloaded it, so I was really happy because it's Strange Darling original motion picture soundtrack. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's totally going to be on there.
Yeah.
But I do love the haunting score, especially the Strange Darling theme, which they use then reprisal at the end again. But it's just so haunting, like the way that her voice is like just saying the words "Strange Darling." Like I don't know, man, that really sticks with me. I couldn't be happier with the score and the soundtrack on this.
And I gotta say, like, I don't know how you felt while watching the second time, but like, I will share a bit there. Like on the first viewing, chapter 3, you want the girl to escape. On the second viewing, knowing she is a monster, you want the cop to end her. It's all about perspective and seeing the bigger picture. So, any thoughts on that, Dre? Because you've seen it twice.
Yeah, I just love the way that it does that. It plays on your preconceived notions, and it's really playing you. Like, yeah, I think it just does that masterfully. Where a whole bunch of other ones that I've seen kind of try to attempt that, and it just doesn't seem to stick the landing. But for me, this totally worked. And you saying that is like, yeah, that's exactly what they were going for. They succeeded. They're playing you. That's why they called him the demon and her the lady.
Yeah, and if you tell that story from her perspective, he is the demon indeed, because he's there to stop her. She's just a fallen angel that deletes people.
Well, she also mentions that she sees devils, and it has that flash of demonic right as she looks at him on the bed.
Yeah, and in the car at the end as well, just before she banged the cop.
Yeah, we get the flash, but it doesn't show us exactly what that image is. I wish, since I've only seen it like in theater, I wish I could actually like pause it on that frame and kind of see what that flashed image is. But
It's like
no,
a
for
reddish
sure
face.
when he's on the
Yeah,
is that what it
reddish
is?
face.
I
like a
couldn't
demon's
yeah.
face.
describe
Yeah.
it. It was just
Yeah.
red on black, and it was really quick, and I missed it. But
It's not exactly a 1-for-1, but it's like The Exorcist when they show you the
nice. That's kind of what I was hoping for. That's why I would like to take it frame by frame. But yeah.
But that movie was something. So again, thank you so much for recommending this. That
Yeah, it's all due to Charles. And,
Yay!
Yeah.
I think it got passed on to him, so hell yeah.
yeah.
Somehow he got the awesome screener thing, which is awesome. I did hear one bit of criticism for this, and it kind of comes up with what you were saying, like these preconceived notion things. Somebody really hated at the end how the cop, the male police officer for Hood River or whatever, sheriff? I can't remember if they're sheriff or police. Anyway, the male officer, he calls the female one a dumb bitch because she basically, fell for the ruse that she did see her as the victim. And
She is a dumb
they just
bitch.
seem to think that was very misogynistic that he said that. And then
I think I
also
know.
the fact that it's now showing that, hey, you shouldn't just believe a victim is very dangerous as well. So
Yeah, but-
I don't know. Do you see
Alex was
any
like that.
validity to that criticism?
I don't, but like, I could see where the person could come from. Like, I will sound weird, but like, when you're left leaning, a lot of time, you don't like women to be criticized. And
But the problem is, it's not blaming a victim. If someone's lying, they're not a victim.
yeah,
But are you believing them if you're investigating if they're lying?
Well, if you're,
I think that's where like her point was, like that you shouldn't be. You should just be taking them on their word. And it's like I don't
But-
know. That sounds dangerous.
no, that's like that. There's plenty of like because people are so corrupt that you at least need police officers to
to do
get it
their
right.
job.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, and I feel like that protocol scene was one of the best parts because
Yeah, I loved the whole ending.
yeah,
I hate to see Barbara Hershey get that, but
yeah,
man,
like the cop guy is like the voice of reason, and
but at the same time, he's compassionate. He sees like what appears to be a victim, and he knows what he should do, and instead he's going along with it because, yeah, okay, maybe she needs medical attention. I guess if I'm going to criticize one thing, they had a radio in the truck. Like as you're taking her to get medical or whatever, you should be radioing it in or whatever. But
yeah,
perhaps they just didn't show us that.
yeah, and like she was very manipulative. The lady, she was very manipulative, and it worked because we had a woman there. But again, maybe we could see it as a convenience or such, but I didn't because I was like, yeah, like there are female cops, you got lucky there. But I feel like even some guys could see that. Oh, she has her pants in a way. Maybe she got SA or something. So even if that was a man there, like I think that kind of scene would have
There was a
hit
man
the
there.
same. No,
He
but
went
a
along
man,
with it,
a
even
man,
though he knew better.
a man instead of the woman. That's more like what I'm saying. Like if we had two men going on that scene, I could still see that turning out that way. Because some men would be like, "Oh, she got SA because stuff."
But is the fact that it was a woman and they made her wrong, is that now misogynistic? He
But
called her
yeah.
a dumb bitch.
Good
Yeah.
art makes good art challenges you and makes you think about things that perhaps you don't agree with, and they present something in a fashion that is not it's not normal to not want to believe a quote unquote victim, but she isn't a victim. They present it
Yeah.
in a way where you understand how someone can be cold like the cop because he's right, and the movie's not telling you that every victim should be treated that way, but sometimes things don't add up because he was talking about the evidence. Like this doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Well, they're showing you that he's right, but they're also showing you that he's an asshole. Like,
Yeah.
they're not saying like, he is perfect.
Right.
But that ending was just something, and I thought the car with the new girl that's like, oh, you need help, and then they shoot each other basically. That was something, and like she's panicking and she's calling like ambulance or something 911 because she shot someone, and it's like that's what people would do. I think normal people that are not psychos, like if they shoot someone like that.
I kind of interpret that a bit differently. That she was not panicked at all. That like she was just badass. Just she saw her pulling a gun, so she took her out and was like, had to do it. I don't know. I'm not sure if she was phoning into like an ambulance or like the police at that point. But I don't know. I didn't get that she was panicking. I just got that she's like, happened again. But maybe I'm wrong. But that shot is just amazing. That one is the most haunting of the entire thing. I wish I could have talked about it more, but it really is like literally the last shot of the thing. But man, just the long shot on Willa Fitzgerald, just, oh man, it's hard to watch. Just you see the color kind of draining out of her, and then what they're simultaneously doing by putting the film into black and white. Just, man, that is one of the roughest death scenes I think I've ever seen. Just that's really sticking with me. Everything about this is just like beautiful and haunting.
And that sounds agonizing. Like you're like she's slowly dying. Like she's like,
Plus, you consider the color. Color is just such a strong
Yeah.
visual storyteller. They're giving you the absence of color to end the story.
yeah. And I think one of my favorite line in the movie, because that was poking fun at the premise of it at some extent. It was really like, "Are you a serial killer?" That was like they said twice, and you're like, Man,
You could
that's
even like opens the movie with it.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's projection.
Yeah, it was like fabulous. They were so clever with that, and
Yeah, it's all part of that manipulation because you have your preconceived notions, but we're only going to ask it about the male, and then we'll come back to that later. It's just interesting. I really like what they did with it. It's so effective, but I don't know. Do you guys would you have hated it if it was in a linear storytelling fashion?
I don't know if I would have hated it. I don't know if the impact hits as hard. I think if you
me neither.
experience it from like their first date, um, I just think the emotions would roll out differently if you watched
Yeah,
it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Different, but I mean,
yeah,
like okay, so you see them talking in the truck, and they have this like intense conversation, and then it cuts to like after the are you a serial killer? It cuts to him like choking her with that same like you don't exactly have perfect context for what
Mhm.
exactly is happening there. I think it would still have some of the same effect. I think you could still get a shock and then still
Oh,
play it off the exact same way as like, nah, it's not good enough. Like whatever,
right. Some
how that scene
effect,
plays out.
sure. I think somehow, majestically, it works better the way they did it. And granted, I haven't watched it
Oh,
in
for
linear.
sure.
I mean,
I love the way they did it. I'm not
right.
trying to say it should be this way. I
Sure.
just heard a lot of criticism that like they're using this gimmick and it wouldn't actually work if they didn't do this. It's like
I don't agree
for
with
me, I
that.
think it would.
I think it's very powerful. The way they do it is spectacular, but I don't think it wouldn't work.
I think
Fair enough.
the early parts of the movie would be easier with the old bedroom scene and such.
Yeah.
The pill would be easier to swallow because you got the full context.
Hmm.
But I think um, the entire movie itself wouldn't have the same impact at all. I think it would be much more predictable. Now it wasn't predictable because of the plot twist that they hide parts of the story in purpose, and also the way they divided the story was perfect because it's all about perspective. So if you just place it on a linear way, you don't use that perspective aspect as well. I think I don't know if I worded it correctly, but I feel like the fact that it's been cut this way um, reinforce the idea of it's all about perspective, it's all about what you know, and I think that's part of really what's going on with the movie. But maybe I'm
Sure.
crazy.
It maximizes the impact of that.
Yeah, maybe I'm crazy.
Well, that goes without saying, but
um, but yeah, again, I thought just like you guys, the acting was on point, and I will also mention that the message about don't trust stranger was like well delivered, like very well, and the critique on I'm a woman, I'm in danger a lot. I think it was well shown and told, and I think other movies and other media in general they tried to tackle the same idea of woman can be in danger, but they didn't do it
In her
as good.
defense, multiple people shot at her in this movie.
Yeah, but I gotta say this movie was really good at addressing stuff other media did, but they did it better. Um, I think it's all about the writing and the execution. I think at that point. What did you think of
For
that
sure.
message, Charles? The don't like woman can be in danger and don't really trust stranger and such. What did you think of that in the movie?
they showed you just perfectly how not everybody's to be trusted. It's a, a, a much more much more colorful, easy for you to say, uh, fictional variation on the Amber Heard situation.
Yeah. Do you want to add more on that,
Yeah.
Gray?
No, mic drop.
Yeah, I like the message. I think it was effective. I feel like people are just looking for something to hate. If you're going to say like it's misogynistic because this one character who it's shown is an asshole and really gruff, the old timer who's, not exactly happy to be there. I don't know. If you're viewing that he's like the actual message of it, I think you're trying to find something to dislike in this. But yeah, I've seen a very similar message where it's like, it plays off of your preconceptions, especially about like male, female. But man, this just worked so effectively for me. I can't say much more about that other than, there's a lot of times where there is kind of a twist or a writing gimmick. This, I guess, has the non-linear, so that's kind of a gimmick, and then it does have a twist in it, which is also kind of a gimmick. Oftentimes, the actual like plot or the suspense or any part of that is kind of put on the back burner to have this kind of gimmick in there. With this, I don't feel like any part of it was sacrificed. I feel like the screenplay is solid. The actual like story, the character development, like every part of it for me, it seems like it works in conjunction with this twist, with this gimmick, where sadly a lot of things kind of lose that in order to pull off the gimmick. So just again, I love this movie.
Amazing. So I forgot if we mentioned or if I asked that to Charles. So maybe I will just repeat myself there. But it's the kind of movie that's very hard to recommend since it's dark, heavy, and could trigger some unwanted PTSD. It's just a movie way too realistic that could hit way too hard close to home. What do you think of that statement, Charles?
I agree, but I mean, if you have that level of PTSD, there's like a lot of thrillers that you shouldn't even be walking into.
Yeah.
And the story does kind of play things out a certain way where you understand some of the elements that might be a little risque. They kind of explain it off. So
yeah.
It's a very sticky situation. Like if you're leery about a subject already, I feel like maybe wait. Oddly enough, but I don't know. I mean, I did a review 2 weeks before the movie came out, and I had a warning on there. It's hard to. I don't know. I can't put myself in that headspace.
Yeah. So what about you, Gray? What do you think of my statement?
I disagree. This should be recommended for everybody. I don't care if you got some problems. Like, okay, then know that there is a trigger warning, and there is the warning that this is a thriller and a dark comedy. If you can't handle certain things, that's probably not the movie for you.
Oh,
I have been recommending it to almost anybody I can, but with the caveat that this is a dark comedy. This is a thriller. It kind of borders on horror, if you will, but I would just argue that everybody is kind of, well, not everybody, but I've heard quite a big buzz for that Blink Twice, and man, it deals with almost the exact same things going on in this. There's just so many ways that it kind of parallels, and it might be my own doing because I kind of left the one theater and then walked into the other, so maybe I'm seeing more than there is. But there's a strong female lead. There's nonlinear storytelling, there's essay, there's drugs, there's there's like 5 or 6 other things that I was thinking of the other day that all kind of like parallel in this. I don't see any strong visual storytelling, a lot of visual symbolism, and focus on colors and making them pop. Extreme detail with costuming and color with that as well. There's just so many similarities, but everything that was trying to do just seems empty and hollow, where every part of it with this just works, and it seems to make sense for me. I understand why the characters are dressed the way they are. I understand why the lighting's there. It just seems flashy in the other one for kind of no reason, for no payoff other than this dude's a billionaire. I don't know. I don't see anybody having issues recommending that one. I don't see why people would have issues recommending this one. It's so much better of a film. It works on so many different layers. if you do have like a trigger warning that you need to have on there, I think just saying it's a dark comedy, I think that really does kind of hopefully cover that. I would think, if you're that affected by it, that would be enough to be like, oh, probably not for me.
Yeah, interesting point of view. Very different than us. And do you mind me sharing what you shared on the private chat? That's just hilarious. So Gray is like, yeah, I will recommend it to anyone. So Charles said, I don't care about you.
Okay, I understand the quote. I don't care about you. 2024. But I care about you. Fair enough. What I'm saying by that is, it's a hard R. It's a dark comedy. Know your limitations. If that doesn't sound like your cup of tea, don't go to it. But if not, this is an amazing film.
This moment. So I think we did talk in length about it. I adore this movie. I want to rewatch it. I don't know if I will get the chance to watch it the third time in theater, but
You've done your part.
I know I will
We'll
watch it
scratch
again.
the surface on the visuals on this. I do believe this film will be analyzed very highly in the future. They just do so much amazing stuff. But fair enough. I get your point. We've talked about it for quite a while.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if you'd like to add more, Gray.
Go see it if you haven't. Support this film. It deserves better than I think it opened at number 12 in the box office, and
Now
it's just a shame considering it was like the week of The Crow. But just really support this thing if you get a chance to. It is beautiful. You'll do your eyes a favor. It's usually pretentious when somebody is talking about 35 mil. But this is just so beautiful. There's one shot where they're in the bedroom together where you see her very close up and then him in focus on the bed. Just this split diopter shot that's just amazing and almost impossible to get. You need to have this really specialized lens that has two focuses. Just awesome. Love the way that they're able to do that. There's so much visually going on here. There's so much acting-wise that's going on here. It's amazing. I think it's my top of the year. I'm excited to hear what your 2 and 1 are, Multi, if this is number 3 for you. But yeah.
It's I will share it to you in the private chat because I have a video in the future, so I won't spoil it for the video yet.
Fair enough.
But
I think I know what your number 1 is, but fair enough.
So these are my favorites this year. And
I did not think of the daddy movie, but the other one I remembered.
These 2 are actually my favorite among all. They are the top 2, and they are the top 2 this year as well.
They're very stylized. They definitely have a style of their own.
Yeah, I went to see both 3 times in theater, but they were both longer in theater as well. This one will last like 2 weeks in theater, 3 weeks.
Well, this is the second weekend. Let's hope that it does better. I guess Friday was in 15, but come on, we can break 10. You got this.
Yeah. Don't go see Regan. What are you doing?
So, Charles, any closing thoughts on the juicy Strange Darling?
No, go see it. Support movies that deserve to be supported. For as much as people want to spend time crapping on something, take that time and celebrate film too. Because as much as people talk about how awful movies are, you're not looking hard enough. Is my opinion on that. If you think
I agree,
all of cinema is just gone, you're not looking hard enough.
I agree, and this is why I want to watch so many recent movies, because I know there's value there, and I want to spread the word. I want to spread the love, because I think, yes, the past had great movies, but the present also has great movies, and I know the future will also have great movies.
Mm-hmm.
If you think otherwise, you don't watch enough stuff. You watch the same kind of stuff all the time, or you watch the wrong reviewer out there. It's sad to say, but if you watch certain platforms, all you see is what they see, and if they ate on something, you will ate on that thing as well. And it's sad to say, but they are popular, and this is why it's popular belief most of the time. So that's why we need to watch these movies and spread the love. So
In
yeah,
honor of this movie, are either you guys doing that special Sunday breakfast tomorrow?
No. No.
I don't.
It
know
is one of the
what's
most
that.
memorable food shots of the entire year for me as well.
All time.
Even longer. It just keeps going.
Yeah, it's just gas and sugar and I don't know. There's a lot of stuff happening there.
I'm still doing my diet. I lost
Ah, so
75
no Sunday
pounds.
breakfast for you.
No.
Well, congrats, man. But
I lost
sorry you have to miss out
75
on it.
pounds.
Did you gain 5 just looking at that image?
Yeah. Well, actually, I gained 20. Shame. I'm like, these people, man, they want me to suffer. And today I went to visit someone, and that person kept offering me like sugar and bunch of stuff. I'm like,
Just straight,
diet.
like
I'm tired.
spoonful of sugar.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't take it. I'm sorry. I want it, but I can't.
Well, good for you, man. Nice willpower.
My willpower is immense. I swear. I think it's one of my biggest character traits or biggest strength. Willpower. Anyway, that's it for this segment. There. I agree. How are you, Gray?
Fantabulous?
Amazing. Your grades out of 10 for Strange Darling.
It's a 4.5 for me, so that's a 9 out of 10.
More than Alien Romulus, I think. Am I
Maybe.
right on that? I think you gave like 8.5. I don't know. Can't remember.
If you think I remember, you're broken.
Okay, so that's interesting. 9. What about you, Gray? What would be your grade for Strange Darling?
Yeah. So out of 5, I would have to give it 5. Or out of 10, I think I'd give it 10. To me, it's just like it's an amazing spectacle. There's few movies that have kind of affected me as highly as this one really has. I was not expecting to like it nearly as much as I did. Once I saw like kind of what they were doing, I expected, I'm going to hate this part of it. Just everything worked for me. This is like kind of a masterclass. I really think people are going to be studying this film. To me, it is a perfect film. So 10 out of 10.
I'm with you.
What about you, Multi? How many?
10. That's a solid
So
10.
it's actually a good movie.
Yeah, that's,
What about the
that's
fact that they didn't radio the second they had her in the back seat? Should that not be a plot contrivance? Should there not have been more deputies already on the way when they didn't check in after that? Is that minus half a point for you?
no. I didn't think of it, so no. Well,
Did you
could
laugh
see
at
it,
the
but-
Sunday breakfast?
Yeah.
Was it not funny, not funny, not funny? Okay, it worked.
I did laugh. The humor on that movie was on point, so that's a 10. Like, I have no issue
Oh,
whatsoever.
kitty, even though she's not a cat.
Yeah. That
Turns
was
out,
Cat
not a
and
kitty.
Mouse. That was hilarious. I like that one. Kitty. Pow! I like that one. Yeah, just amazing movie. And I don't see myself recommending it. That's the sad part. It's a great movie, but I don't want to give you PTSD.
Oh, I wouldn't. I'm somewhere between you and Gray. I wouldn't not recommend it,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say if you're mature enough to see R-rated movies,
Yeah.
this is awesome. So if you can
Yeah.
do it R-rated dark comedy, well, yeah, this is dark as hell.
Yeah.
yeah.
But thank you, Charles, a lot for recommending it to us.
Anytime.
It's one of the best movies.
Yeah.
Strange Darling is a masterpiece. It's my fourth favorite movie this year, and I have seen 73 2024 movie. I know it's more down 2023, but it's a movie that was shown in theaters, or I should say, in film festivals last year. That's when it was shown, in film festivals. So, yeah, it's a solid movie, and I I think it's very hard to recommend this to people because they are like essay moment to remind you to friendly, and there's some rough bedroom fun, and the premise is having a date with a killer. But the twist, and again, I already gave you a warning about spoilers, but I will do it again. Turns out the killer is not the guy like most of the movies like to do because that's a trope, and because yes, a lot of times there's more men. Women are smarter when it comes to like ending someone else uh life. They will poison them, or they will delete them from the inside with their brain, because physically they won't be very much of a threat, and they also know how to dispose of body, and they are smarter. Like guys, we just, if there's an outburst, someone goes out of control, and he goes so far, then it's over, and you won't even try to hide the body. That's all we are. We could be very destructive in what we could do. But again, not all men are like that. And I hate the narrative that all men should be. So seeing this time around a woman being responsible of many people's deaths feels different and refreshing. Because sometimes, yes, there are these women that are very clever and dangerous at the same time. Maybe that's part of why that movie just worked so well for me. On the first viewing, because I did end up watching this movie twice. On the first viewing, chapter 3, you want the girl to escape. On the second viewing, knowing she is a monster, you want the cop to end her. It's all about perspective and seeing the bigger picture. And I remember a lot of people saying, that movie is bad because it needs to tell its story another way to work. Not really. Did you understand the movie? It's all about perspective. Appearance can deceive you. And that's why that's a shocker moment when you realize this time around it's not the guy, it's the girl. And I've seen some people saying that 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 movie is anti-feminist. What kind of crap are you drinking or eating? I didn't see that. Um, I've heard people saying it has misogyny or some shit like that. Not really. There's a woman at the very end of the movie that is very clever, and that's why she survived the serial delete person. The main character is also very clever and smart, despite being a nutcase, a crazy lady that just takes people's lives for fun. She's so very clever and calculated. The only character that's really stupid is the cop girl. But again, it's outweighed by like three female characters that are kind of cool, well written, and great. Well, actually, there's also the receptionist, but the receptionists are so small. Can we really call them characters, or more like plot device? But regardless, that's beside my point. I think that movie has strong female characters, and it's not a message about we cannot take girls seriously. It's more like um things happen, and sometimes girls are also capable of doing disgusting things. I just don't see it, and even they're like the main character with his kind of troubled past. Maybe is not like the best guy in town. So I don't know. Like again, I I think people want to hate on movies if they depict a woman on a bad light, and they do, and it's not because she is poorly written, or it's not because she is a trope, it's because she breaks the mold. And therefore, that's an issue because a woman cannot do bad things, not in 2024 society. And maybe that's why so many people call this movie anti-feminist, but it's not. It's not. I'm sorry, but it's not. Enough of that rant. Um, a lot of things I did enjoy. The sound design was on point, the characters made sense, and they were well written. The dark humor was hilarious, action and violence felt real, well written movie, the tension was real, the lighting was great. And I've seen other reviewers understanding the movie so much better than me. Um, One of them is in the description of this video. Watch it if you want. You will find at least one Strange Darling stream on his channel, and I've seen most of these Strange Darling stream, and they are great. But the lighting, the coloring, everything in that movie matters. And I've seen another nitpick that was kind of popular, like the girl cop at the end being more emotional and stupid, being like, "Oh, let's help her out. She is the victim," and the guy cop is like, we should follow protocol." But the girl is like, "Oh, that's your protocol. My protocol is she is a victim. We need to help her." So they both add their own protocol, their own perspective on what's going on. The guy didn't know what's going on. He didn't assume. He didn't believe uh what he was seeing. He was trying to have a more cold approach to what was going on, while the woman was more emotional. And the villain kind of wanted that. She wanted someone to respond emotionally. That's why she pulled up her pants the way she did, to end at maybe being assaulted when she wasn't. Um, she wanted to play victim to lower the guards of others. That was something. That was well made. And it's not convenience, it's just two different characters and the stupid one winning the argument. Maybe that's why people are like, it's anti feminist because of that scene. But again, it's not because she's the stupid emotional one that every woman are like that. Like the other women in the movie aren't like that. The electric lady is very smart. She manipulates people. The old lady, she was gentle and she was cautious. That's why she had her own weapon when the electric lady knocked at her door. Hell, the last girl at the very end shot the electric girl because she's like that she's dangerous. So yeah, like it's not because you have like one character that acts stupid that that's the message of the movie. You get it wrong. It's just don't trust what you see. It's all about perspective. Um, don't trust the looks of something. The seemingly victim um could be in fact a monster. If the story was told any other way, we wouldn't have gotten the same experience. Message of Don't Trust Stranger was well delivered. Acting was on point. Twists and turns were well made. They subvert expectation in a clever way. Great music. Two unreliable narrators as leads. It's the kind of movie that's very hard to recommend since it's dark, heavy, and could trigger unwanted PTSD. It's just a movie way too realistic that could hit way too hard close to home. And I've seen it twice in theater, and I wanted to watch it a third time before recording this video. That's why I took forever to record it. But now we are by the end of November, and I cross my finger. I hope to have enough time to hit 100 movies from 2024, and I'm like 26-ish, 27-ish from that goal. So hopefully I will hit it. If I don't, I don't. That will be a goal for next year. But that's why I didn't rewatch the third time this masterpiece. But I plan on, because that movie is great. Even among all of the movies I've seen, this one is top tier. Top tier. Top tier. And with this, I will give it 10 out of 10. Masterpiece. You want more content like this? Like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.